The Tour de France finishes in Bordeaux today, and if you've been following this series from the beginning, from the Tom de Pyrenees and Léon, through the Casselet, the Roussel, the Haricot Tabas, the Bernays, the Gabou, the Mortain, and the Terçon wines, you'll know by now that food of the southwest of France is one of the great untold stories in European gastronomy. Bordeaux, as we finish here today, gives us a story, not about wine. We've been deliberately avoiding the wine because everybody already knows about Bordeaux wine, not about the Cannelet. We covered that in our main Bordeaux episode. Today we're talking about something smaller, quieter, and considerably less famous. A sweet that barely exists outside of the city. A confection invented by a single pastry chef who went for a walk in a vineyard and came home with an idea that turned into a family business. It's now in its third generation. Today we're talking about the Bouchon Bordelais. This is Fabulously Delicious, the French food podcast, and welcome back to the Food Tour de France. I'm your host, Andrew Pryor. The Bouchon Bordelais is a small cylindrical confection, and its name means the cork of Bordeaux, and it looks exactly like one in miniature, shaped from almond paste and semi-candied raisins, wrapped in a thin, crispy butter biscuit shell that gives an outer texture uncannily similar to a cork. Inside, it's soft, yielding and intensely flavoured with Fine de Bordeaux, a grape brandy produced in the Bordelais region. Made from white wine grapes, aged for 6 years, and described as the only true spirit of Bordeaux. The flavour combines honey and almond with the warmth of the eau de vie, and a subtle grapefruit note that makes the whole thing surprisingly light for something that rich. The contrast between the crispy exterior and the melting interior is, as with the Cannelet, the whole point. Each bouchon is individually wrapped in transparent packaging with the name printed on it, naturally Bordeaux red. The story begins in 1976 with a man called Jacques Coquet, who was a maitre d' pâtissier, chocolatier, who had been established at the Barrière de Médoc in Bordeaux since 1965. He had a clear ambition to create a sweet that would celebrate and represent the region in the way that other French cities have their own signature treats. The raisins and the wine of Bordeaux were his starting point. They were obvious, but the idea that completed the recipe came during a walk through the vineyards in 1976. When Coquet noticed almond trees growing among the vines, he went back to his workshop and spent months testing, adjusting and tasting until the Bouchon Bordelais was born. The shape was a deliberate act of tribute. Bordeaux has around 14,000 wine producers and the industries that support them. The glass makers, the cork manufacturers have shaped the economic and cultural life of the city for centuries. The cork is not just a function or object in Bordeaux, it's a symbol. So he chose it and baked the bouchon in an oven adapted from a 19th century cigarette wafer machine. The name was registered as a trademark in 1977, just 1 year after the first bouchon came out of the oven. The awards followed quickly. First prize in 1980 at the Salon Intersuc. First prize in the Best Petit Four in France in 1988. A sweet invented by one man in a workshop in Bordeaux that went on to win the Best Petit Four in France within 12 years of its creation. In 1990, he sold his patisserie to concentrate entirely on the bouchon, funding the Société Le Bouchon de Bordeaux. When he died in 1998, his daughter Veronique, who had been a hairdresser by trade, decided to continue his work. She'd not been involved in the business before. She simply could not let it stop. And in 2020, her own daughter, Julia, joined her. 3 generations of the Coquet family, continuing a recipe that began with a walk through a vineyard in Saint-Emilion 50 years ago. The recipe remains a closely guarded family secret. The Fine de Bordeaux Napoleon used in the recipe is a 6-year-old eau de vie, the same vintage every time, chosen for a specific character. The production is entirely artisanal, without preservatives. Since 1995, the family has developed a range of variations on the original. Bouchons made with Armagnac instead of Fine de Bordeaux, with cognac, with Grand Marnier and orange peel, a walnut liqueur, and a praline version. There's even a non-alcoholic version for those who want the texture and the almond character without the eau de vie. The packaging, a cork-shaped box in natural cork, has become as iconic as the sweet itself. Today, the Tour de France finishes in Bordeaux. The cannelé gets all the attention. But if you find yourself here in the city, in one of the fine food shops in the cool, find the Bouchon. Try the original. Let it sit on your tongue for a moment and taste the almond, the raisin, the brandy and the crunch of the outer shell. That's the Bouchon Bordelais. That's the end of this leg of the Food Tour de France. Bon appétit et à très bientôt.